Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At-Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay-at-home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight. Got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet. Cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. I have Danny with me for just a few minutes. Hey, buddy, how are you?
I had to jump. I've been missing you, man. Honestly, I had to go to the lake, and that was great a couple of weeks ago. So I had to miss that episode. And I'm like, okay, I'm driving all day long. I can't be on a podcast. But then last week, I'm like, okay, oh no, I can't because you're doing the interviews for the nominees, right? And I'm like, and I thought there's really no place for me as a fellow nominee to be into that whole thing. I need to just hands off that. And I don't think anybody would ever think or even suspect that I would like try to sabotage somebody or anything like that. But it's just, it's better just to step
Good politics.
back, right?
It's good politics.
Good politics. Yeah, that'll be a way to put it. And I hate to have left you with all that work.
That's okay. I got
person after person after person after person. I heard it. It was good. You did very well.
It was new techniques to learn, that's for sure. And I think that's one of the things that I enjoy about doing this is that you learn new techniques. I was like, I need transition music between
that's what I was gonna, yes.
And I'm like, all right, like I gotta find that. It's great. Like we live in an era where it's really easy to just go on YouTube and anything that's like non-copyrighted free type of stuff. Like they actually have now in YouTube just a download button that you just click and you can download that entire audio.
Sweet.
And I can put it into iMovie or into Audacity. It literally like clip out like the section that I want. And so it made it super easy to put those transitions in there and put it all together. It was more interesting trying to put it in doing that with the iMovie portion of it, just because there's a little bit more, like, I feel like there's a little more to it, but it was fun, man. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We had a great time talking to everybody, and the guys all did an awesome job representing themselves and telling, what's going on with them and why it is they want to be on the board. And I feel like, that's a thing that we will carry on for years to come because it was so fun to just have them on for a few minutes to just get that information from them.
Right. And to have, I mean, we're going to get videos from everybody. We're always going to have a bio. You can go on the website and what have you, and we'll be able to look at them and read their stuff. But hearing somebody is so much better. It's kind of like an in-person interview as opposed to an on-camera interview, as opposed to an email, right? You really get to know who they are. And I think it's very important that we are doing that because these are, to all of our listeners, all of our members, these are your board members. They're there to work for you, to get this network to a better place, to keep it growing, do all these other things about it. And those need to be people that you know and that you appreciate and want in that position. You know? It's very important, I think, that we've done this and are doing this.
Well, I think if you even go back 10 years ago, we weren't doing this way. Like a lot of times you just showed up to the convention and then it was like, oh, these are the board nominees. And then it was like trying to scramble around to get to know them. So I love that we've come up with ways to bring people, into the light a little bit quicker and give people that opportunity. So I'm excited to have our last two on for the day. So I'm excited.
Two more.
Yeah, we got Joshua Berntsen's going to be coming on here after we finish up chatting here, and then you're going to come on and we'll talk. And
stuck with me again.
I'm all for it, man. It's good. It's good. I think that we're getting closer to Home Dad Con. It's coming along really quickly. So that's another thing. I was last time, the last episode, Nick was like, we have like 100 days. And I was like, wow, dude, like that's crazy, which means that now we're sub 100, so that's even wilder. And
like
then
3 months, I
know
and it's not exactly, but 3 months will be in. I can't wait.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be really good. Also, too, another thing to kind of talk about is we're working on a podcast, Home Dad Chat t-shirt, which is pretty exciting, partially due to the fact that we're selfish and we want them for the podcast movement conference that we're going to wear around. But at the same time, too, we know that our listeners support us and would be interested in them as well. So
and that was very cool. I mean, I know we have people that listen and we have, people that respond and talk to us, what have you, but to have somebody say, yeah, I'd like a t-shirt with your podcast on it. That's just, I don't know. That made my heart beat a little faster. That was delightful.
I told my mom and dad about it. I called them up and was like, they're like, what have you been up to? And I'm like, well, I've been, developing this t-shirt for the podcast, and they've been amazing. Just like, fans from the sidelines type of deal, like telling people when they, cause people be like, oh, what's Brock up to? That kind of thing. And my dad loves to tell people about, oh, he's got this podcast and it's, doing really well and everything. And just promoting it to different people. And so when I was like, yeah, we got a t-shirt, like they were like, we want one. And I'm like, oh, cool. So, so I'm excited about that. My dad's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'll wear that when I'm out driving the truck so that, other drivers I come in contact with have something, they can listen to type of deal. I was like, all right. Like, that's awesome too. I love that. So, but
Mark has heard about it and he's like, Dad, you've got merch. And I'm like, yes, we do. We have merch now. We're officially hip and young, I guess. I don't know. We got merch.
We got merch. Exactly. So that's going to be exciting. It'll be hopefully coming out here pretty soon, because I got to get the order in so that we have the shirts for podcast movement. So, but we had like 7, in total, it was about 70 orders.
Nice.
Just with one announcement. So
that's huge.
I know, it's pretty wild.
I mean, honestly, you could not have told me that, but when you came up with the idea, I'm like, yeah, we'll get 2 for me, maybe 2 for you, and that would be maybe 10. We can maybe somehow get 10.
I was like, I needed to get at least a 12. That's all 12, I needed.
Yeah. Okay, we'll blow that out of the water. And thank you to everybody. If you're listening to this and you've decided to pick up a t-shirt, thank you so much. Thank you for listening, but also thank you. And that's not really supporting the show at this point. I think
it's not. There's no profit involved.
Literally it's at cost. So we're definitely not trying to make any money off anybody. But we might later. Give me $5. Give me buy Brock a new mic. No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. So, but yeah, I love it too that we're offering one more thing. And I'm like, I want a coffee cup. I think I want a coffee cup. Just this home dad chat on the side. I have one with a sticker. So
I was really bummed when JHG was like, oh yeah, like the coffee mug is too, like the actual like graphic of the coffee mug on our logo is too intricate to have done for a embroidered piece on a hat. And I'm like, that's my goal. I'm gonna figure out somebody's gonna have it. We'll figure it out.
There is a way.
There is a way. We're gonna make it happen, because I'm like, man, I really want like a trucker hat with that on it. Like we're gonna get that put together somehow, some way.
I am all over that, definitely. And a trucker hat, not a baseball cap. That's yes.
Need the ventilation in the back.
Yes, really do. My big head.
Oh my goodness. But we'll talk more about all that later.
Yep.
We gotta hit the pause button and bring in the 5K commercial that I excited to promote so that we can get more people involved in that. But we'll be back with Joshua Berntsen, and then we'll be back with you, Danny, after him. And
see you in a little bit.
That'll be the episode. So we'll talk to you all again here in just a few moments. Join us for the Dad's Run 5K in St. Louis 2024. Benefiting the Fathers Overcoming Adversity Fund. Brand new to this year is the 1 mile Arch March. For our walkers or runners that want a short option, we got you. Participate in personal or virtually. The live event includes a 5K finisher medal, post-race food, and refreshments. Virtual participants complete their 5K the week of October 18th through the 20th, 2024, with a registration fee covering medal shipping. If you are unsure of how to train for 3.1 miles or think it too daunting, the plan Couch to 5K will get you there in 9 weeks. There's still time to start the journey. Link to this program can be found in any of the posts about the 5K on our social media platforms. Again, the date for the convention is October 17th through the 19th, 2024 in St. Louis, Missouri. In person, to register for the 5K is $35. Virtual registration is $40. Sponsored by plantorun.com. To learn more, go to athomedad.org/ Dads Run This House 5K. All right, and we are back. And as I stated, I have Joshua Berntsen with me, and we are going to chat a little bit about why it is that he wants to be on the board. And man, I'm really excited to talk to you. How you been, man?
Been pretty good. Been busy.
Yeah, I know you got some very active children, so definitely going to talk a little bit about that. I do have to say, I love the fact that you have my brewery's ball cap on that you got last year at the beer share.
Right.
It's he's not pandering, folks. I promise. Like I have zero anything in this, but I always love that. Well, hey, I know a lot of folks are friends with you through Facebook and things like that, and have seen different, parts of your family. But I just want to give other listeners a chance to get to know you a little bit better. So, tell us a little bit about just like your family dynamic and just a little bit about yourself in that.
Sure. So I live in Pinellas Park, Florida, which is right outside of St. Petersburg, Florida. So it's in that Tampa Bay area. I'm married. We've been married for 18 years. Our marriage is now officially an adult. I have 3 kids. I've got a 17-year-old daughter, a 10-year-old son, and then also a 5-year-old son. My 5-year-old son's on the autism spectrum. So I've got my hands full. The stay-at-home dad is a full-time job. It usually is, but man, I'm all over the place all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine. I mean, I remember getting to meet the kids and everything a while back, and yeah, it's you got some great kids, I will say, and definitely there's a lot going on there. Hey, so being that you've got a 17-year-old and then a 5-year-old and then one in the middle, how long have you been a stay-at-home dad?
So I became a stay-at-home dad when we moved to Florida in 2010. So that's about 14 years. I did have about a year and a half break in the middle when my daughter was the only child and she started school. I was getting bored around the house, so I re-entered the workforce at that point in time. But then when my middle child, my son, was born, and he was going to daycare, and my wife was working and I was working. We were both climbing the corporate ladder. My son and my daughter were at before and after school care and daycare from like the moment those places opened till the moment they closed every day. And quality of life just really stunk. So we made the decision to voluntarily, again, step away from the workforce and become a stay-at-home dad again, because my relationship with my daughter was amazing. It is amazing because of that time that I got to spend with her alone. So I wanted that for the rest of my kids. And then, fast forward a few more years and we ended up adopting my son, Jacob, as well. So I've got 3 kiddos.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Thanks for that. I'm also curious too, with all that, like, what is it about being a dad that you love?
I just love like the inspiration, like the trying to get them to be the best human beings that they can possibly be. And I'm very proud of all 3 of my kids. Every day that they are making more and more achievements and just showing their light and becoming wonderful human beings. And that to me is my, hey, you've done a good job type of. That's the the reward from this fatherhood experience.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it for sure. I
Right.
love that. Thank you. And then on the flip side of that, what do you struggle with as being a dad? Like what are some of the hurdles that you come into contact with?
Some of the hurdles, and it's funny, I can see some of my faults coming out of my kids. And so some of the things that I struggle with, I see that they struggle with as well sometimes. And, that's painful to watch. And it's, having the grace to say, hey, I know what you're going through, and trying to course correct when I myself am a flawed human being, so really the thing that I struggle with sometimes is when things aren't all peachy keen and everything's going right, feeling then the flip side of that where what did I do wrong, or or just keeping that positive vibe going sometimes is difficult.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I for whatever reason, when you were saying all that, I was just like, yeah, you have the song "Everything Is Awesome," like going, trying
Right,
to go on
exactly.
to keep things moving
Yep.
forward. So definitely. Well, hey, couple of board questions here for you, just to kind of wrap up our time. Uh, why do you want to serve on the board? Like, I know you've been a part of the organization for quite a while. Talk a little bit about like what it is that you've been doing prior to this, involved with the organization. I know you've been doing some things too with Home DadCon the past couple of years as well. But talk about that, and then also too, like what's kind of brought you to the point of deciding to be a nominee for the board.
Yeah, so my type of personality is if I see a hole, I want to fill it, right? So I want to, if there's a need, I'm going to do whatever I can to fill that need, right? And that has opened a lot of doors for me. And I've, you know, if you look at my professional background and just my activities and hobbies and stuff like that, I am kind of a renaissance man as far as that goes, because really I'm willing to pick up and do whatever I need to do. So that being said, I spent some time as a health coach. Now you can't tell from looking at me, but during that time, I learned a lot of social media skills. So I ended up helping you guys out, helping the organization out with social media posts, as well as the newsletter that comes out each month. At my church, I was running the entire sound department. So the last Home DadCon, I just kind of stepped up and helped you guys out as far as tech is concerned, and running the soundboard. And then this leading up to this upcoming Home DadCon that's in October, I made suggestions for improvements based upon my experience last year as far as the tech is concerned. So we are going to have some additional equipment that's going to hopefully make things even smoother and more professional, and everything's going to go really, really well. So when it comes to the board, it's just kind of the natural next step. Like I want to be as involved as I can be. This organization has given so much to me that I want to give back. So I feel it's another way to serve.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's great. Yeah, and I honestly thank you for the things that you've done over the time, because definitely it's been a great help in many aspects. Last question here before we call it a show here. What are you specifically wanting to offer, change, or create while you're on the board? What are your kind of your aspirations if for that 3 years?
Honestly, it's one of those things where I don't know what I would want to change until we come across that hurdle. Really, I feel that this organization is heading on the right track, so I want to continue that growth. I know personally, benefiting from this group and organization, like my eyes have become much more open than they have been in the past. Our organization is so diverse, and there are so many different types of families and dads and all that kind of stuff, that meeting all these individuals, I realize, hey, my world is much bigger than the block around me. And seeing all these different things, I love how inclusive we are. I absolutely love how we purposefully try to seek out and accept everybody that we possibly can, and make sure that nobody feels excluded. And I want to continue on that trajectory. So I'm not sure what I would change unless we come across like a hurdle that we need to work on. But other than that, I really just want to continue on this path of acceptance and inclusivity.
Love that. Definitely. Hey, Josh, I really appreciate the time getting to talk to you. It's been great, and I'm looking forward to October. It's going to be here sooner than I think most of us are maybe ready for. But yeah, man, thank you again so much for your time, and we will see you real soon. And I'll be right back with Danny here. All right, I'm back, and I have Danny Mercer with me. Danny, you are the last of the board nominees to chat with, so I am excited to definitely ask you questions and find out a little bit more about you. And I know everybody that listens to this podcast, they've gotten to
Probably
hear
heard
things from
too
you.
much from me already. Yeah.
But that's okay though, like I feel like there's some new listeners out there as well. So I'm excited to just, get them to get the chance to know a little bit more about you. So um let's get things rolling here. Just got a few questions for you. So just your family is quite big. You got a lot of people in there. Just tell us a little bit about that family dynamic of yours.
So my wife and I have been married 19 years. We have 4 kids, and I've been an at-home dad for 14 years, I think. It's been a while. My children are now currently 18, about to be 15, 11, and about to be 10. We have a lot of summer birthdays in the house. So I guess it's a big family. I think it's whatever you get used to. If we'd only had one kid, I'm sure that would have been the perfect size for us.
Yeah.
But I wanted 10. That'd have been amazing, but I met my wife far too late in life for that to happen. Because I'm 55 now, and so that means for my youngest graduation from high school, her friends are going to go, "Is that your grandpa up there?" No, that's actually my 65-year-old dad sitting in the stands trying to send me off to college. So,
Yep. I understand that. I feel like that's yeah, I'm feeling that myself in some ways. Well, you kind of beat into my next question there a little bit, but you said you've been a stay-at-home dad for 14
I think
years.
it's 14. Yeah.
Man, okay. That's a lot of years. So, um what have you kind of experienced in that 14 years?
Well, I never would have thought in my life up to that a dad could be the one that stays home and takes care of the kids. It was a surprise to me when my wife suggested it. I didn't know what to do. Had no idea what's going on. I'd had experience with babies before that. I'd, changed diapers, and I'd, taken care of little kids. I'd done a little bit of not really babysitting, but kind of taking care of my cousins and what have you. So I had an idea, and I don't think I ever realized how much I enjoy taking care of people. It's something I like to do. I like to like, if you come to my house, I want to feed you, kind of thing. I want to make sure that you're fed and you're warm, and I just want to take care of people. And with the kids, it really, really hit me um, how much I'm kind of, I don't know how to put it, but made for that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't think of anything I've ever done in my life that I was really great at. And I'm not saying I'm great as a dad, but I love it so much. It is really
Yeah.
my passion. I love watching my kids grow. I've watched, every single rite of passage and stage where it was, anything from potty training to learning to ride a bike to going off to college. It's all been very exciting for me.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to seeing how my kids become people and what they do out in the world without, when they're not living here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that kind of goes into the third question I was getting ready to ask was, just kind of like what it is that you love about being a dad. I mean, it sounds like, kind of started that whole process, but like expand on that a little bit more if you can.
I think probably what I love the most is seeing my kids accomplish things. Now, whatever that might be, getting excited with them about things they're passionate about, and that's a lot of times that's pretty difficult as a parent, because your kids are excited about stuff that either you experienced 40 years ago or something, or they're excited about stuff that you really like. I'm just going to say, I apologize if I bring this up and anybody else's kids hear this, but Roblox is one. And
Shots fired.
my right, and my kid will go, "Oh, Dad, I made it to level 22 this time on Poopsie Face or whatever the character." I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're so excited about it and you're so happy about it, and I'm definitely give you a high five or a hug and just go, "Yeah, how'd you do that? Tell me more about it." And to see the excitement in their face as they accomplish these little things, like something like video games, whatever, but also the bigger stuff. My oldest has to do his own doctor's appointments now. At 18, you're no longer allowed to make their doctor's appointments for them. Now, he can give me access to it and things like that, and he can give me access to his medical records. It is possible, but I've worked with him for several years, and I've made him step up to the counter and talk to the people and what have you, and he hated it every time. But I heard him on the phone, and he was making a very adult phone call, and it was so just it made my heart soar like the hawk. It was amazing. I'm like, yes, you finally reached this point, and seeing those little tiny things again, whatever those little rites of passage might be for us. Again, it's like, potty training, or learning to eat with a spoon, but also that big stuff. Learning how to make your schedule so you can go to college, and you can study when you need to, and have fun when you need to, and doing those things that this is all you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge difference, but
That's awesome.
watching them hit these milestones and sometimes fail, to be honest. I mean, my kids are not huge successes across the board, but they always get back up and try again. And
Yeah.
seeing things like that is just it's delightful for me. It really is. It's
That's great.
exciting, and it just makes me love this job even more.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. Definitely. On the flip side of that, what do you as a father struggle with?
It's gotten easier after 18 years of being a dad. I've learned a lot of things, but I will say the biggest thing that I struggled with, and this is something that I'm no way happy about or proud about, but you you're taught certain things growing up by your parents. They teach you things, and then as you become a parent yourself, you learned things, right? So the difference between what you were taught and what you learn, and I was taught that spanking is a minimum, that hitting your kids, whatever way you do that, is the way to get a child to do what you want them to do. And that's I mean, I spanked my kid one time, and he looked at me, slapped his leg, like, is that all you got? And he was angry, and he was defiant, and he was stubborn. And I got angry, and I'm like, oh no, that's not all. I got really, and it was a bad thing. But I looked at him. I didn't touch him again. I looked at him like, oh, wait, I don't want to fight my kid like this. And I don't want to hit my kid. Why did I do that? And so the struggle has always been, because you always return to what you were first taught, whatever that might be. And growing up in an abusive household, it was to abuse, basically. It was to spank, if you want to put it that way. It was, spare the rod and spoil the child, however, whatever way you want to put around it. But for my family and for me personally, to do that meant that I would be abusive. It meant that I would be overly angry. And so having to learn over and over again not to rage at my kids, because that's how we spoke when I went growing up. We just yelled at or they yelled at us. We didn't yell at them, but learning those little things about controlling my anger, that literally has taken decades of my life to just not be a literally raging jackass.
Yeah.
So that's what I've struggled with probably the most, is my anger.
I appreciate the vulnerability in that, because that is not an easy thing to talk about. So I completely
not proud of it at all.
Yeah, I can definitely assimilate with you on that, as far as like I've been there. So like I totally get it. Definitely.
Nobody's more frustrating than your kids. Nobody.
They're I was telling that to somebody else. I was telling that to somebody else last week. It was like, these kids are your walking mirrors of you. So that's definitely going to be the, thing that gets after you, and you see. Hey, so the last couple questions here. This has to do with just the board and being a nominee. But what do you want to, well, you're already serving, actually. Never mind. Let me try this again. What is it that you are, I guess, like, hold on, that's not right. Pause. Why is it that you're wanting to basically be up for re-election again, and why are you wanting to continue on with being on the board?
Multiple reasons. One of them, which I think anyone that gets on the board of directors, has never been a board of directors before, has never worked on like anything at a nonprofit, is it takes about a year to hit your stride. And I think if you talk, especially to the executive members of the board, and that's the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, they'll all tell you, yeah, it took me a bit to hit my stride, to really figure out what this job needs and what it entails. But beyond that, I want to just kind of go back to when I became vice president. When I put myself up for vice president, I was expecting that there might be other people that would want that job as well. And I wanted to make sure that people understood why I wanted that. And I think that's why I want to continue on the board, and hopefully as vice president, if they elect me, is that one of my strengths is communication. I do talk about, I laugh about talking a lot, and I really do talk a lot. But beyond just talking too much, it's a connection with people. It's a connection like with you and I, and we talk a lot, we just get to know each other, and that's what people do. And that connection for me builds the community that we're a part of. And it's twofold for me because one, we have the community. We've talked about like the rapport you get when you go to Home Dad Con. When you stand in that room or go to the breakout and hear those other dads that are saying the things that you're feeling and that are wanting to do the things that you want to do, and either you can help them or they can help you. And it just builds that friendship, which builds the greater community. And that's a huge part. And I want to maintain that because it's a very, very solid foundation of where we are as an organization. But beyond that, building the community of our partnerships, our greater community of fatherhood. The hashtag No Dad Alone campaign is a great example of that. Now, I didn't set that up, so I want to make that clear, but it was what I wanted because we're looking at, and we've talked about this before, other fatherhood organizations that are on the same journey, but just kind of a different path, right? And so being able to bring them together is a big thing. So I want to maintain those, but also I want to rebuild some. I don't know if you were aware of it, but we had Procter and Gamble as a sponsor for the convention at one point.
Yep.
And I mean, they're like huge brands like Gillette and Old Spice and what are they, Tide and Pampers. I mean, they're a huge corporation, and they came to the convention and sponsored us, and
Yep.
we didn't maintain that relationship. You know, we just
Yeah.
didn't. It happens. We're learning these things. We've talked about Equimundo, who I also want to help build. Unilever was sent a representative from Men's Plus Care to the convention, and Dove Men's Care. Their hashtag is hashtag Man Enough to Care. And I'm like, how is that not exactly who we are? How are we not doing that exact thing? So what I want to do, both as vice president and then just on the board, and honestly, even if I don't get reelected, I'm still going to work at it. But it's to be able to maintain those relationships and to build that greater community because of the trajectory that I feel the network's at a pivotal point right now. We are just taking off. We really are. And our trajectory is straight up at this point. We're becoming a resource for other organizations. We're becoming a place that people lean on, not just interpersonally, but also with other organizations, corporations, university, and things of that nature. And I really want to foster that greater growth, but maintain our foundation, which is a strong community of dads.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Definitely. Cause I think that's something that, people have tried in the past and they haven't
It's
quite
not
gotten there.
easy.
So yeah,
No,
they
it's
haven't kept it.
not easy. And
Definitely.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that I'll be the guy that does it 100%, but I feel like we need focus on that.
Yeah.
So.
And that kind of goes in with my last question a little bit because we were sort of hitting on it there a little bit. But I mean, like, aside from that, like, specifically, like, I think everybody knows what you offer already just with being in there and everything. But, what kind of changes do you see need to be made? And you kind of touched on that a little bit. And then, like, for the next 3 years, like, you got the opportunity also to like create some things on the board. Like, what are, what's your kind of vision for the next 3 years if you're reelected?
Moving the organization forward, both in those greater partnerships, developing what a partnership is for us. Again, we're a nonprofit. We don't pay anybody anything. We don't have that ability. And I don't know that that will ever change. But what we can do is offer a resource to people, as I mentioned, to where other organizations can come to us and say, "Hey, can I get a local community leader would like a ticket to the convention, and they represent this and that in fatherhood in their area?" Yes, absolutely. The people that we outreach to every year at the convention to do some type of charity work for them, to help rebuild a thing or pick up trash or build furniture or whatever it is that we're going to do. Those types of things, I feel like need a better focus in some ways. We do very, very good work. And our convention planning committee, especially this year, is the best I've ever seen. They're incredible. They get so many things already done and ready and in place. And we're already planning for the next year. And we're already planning for our 30th anniversary, which is coming up in just 2 years. These types of things are what we need to be doing and what we're doing very well. And we just need a little bit of professional polish, just a little, look at like the major corporations and see how they do things, how their framework is set up, how the organization is set up, and look at our board and say, okay, so we need simple things. We have Slack as an example. That's I mean, it can be very irritating. I admit you want it to stop going off sometimes, but the reality is it's a very, very good communication tool. And a few years ago, we didn't have Slack. We just, we've talked about this previously. We just contacted each other on direct messages. I wasn't a part of the board of them, but I'm like, that sounds terrible. And taking the abilities of the board members and looking at them and saying, what can you do? What's your focus? What's your specialty? What's your passion? And putting them in that area, which is something I will say Keith has done amazingly well. He started it at the convention last year, if not before, and just saying, well, what are you passionate about? What do you want to do? And doing that for the entire board and finding those people that not only are willing to do the work, because all of our board members seem to be very willing to work, but giving them the thing that they're good at and putting them in a place where they have that ability to express their passion and put that energy into something to make it even better. I want to compliment Paul Gordon, as he's been a treasurer in other organizations. He came in and took over as treasurer for our organization, and he just knows what he's doing. He just does it. It's amazing. And treasurer is the most important position on the executive board. It really is. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it for a second. I would run us right into the ground. It is not my forte. But seeing someone that's truly experienced and skilled and honestly passionate and stepping into that role was a wonderful thing. It was like, wow, this is exactly what we needed. And I want to see about doing that for the rest of the board, so it will help the board prosper in a way and then help the network grow in that way as well.
I love that. I'm so glad to hear that. It's been awesome getting to talk to you about this topic, and going to now basically ask you to walk out of the room for a second and then do a little Superman thing in the telephone booth and come back in as my podcast co-host here, and we'll continue talking. So
I don't know. We've never been seen in the same room together.
I know. Well, give me a second here and we'll bring him right back on. So here we go. Alrighty, and we're back, and I've got my co-host Danny. Hey, man,
those interviews were great, man. That last guy, man, he talked a lot, but
he did talk a lot, man.
He's got some energy. You got that.
I tell you what, you give a microphone to him, and it's
he just goes. I don't know if you're going to stop him at 10 minutes, man. He was just like going.
I mean, I kept an eye on it, but I tell you, like, it was interesting. Anyway, yeah, man. So we've been kind of two ships passing in the week.
Really have. Yes.
I feel like, and just, all kinds of things have been going on. I know, you said that you had been up at the lake. You look like you were getting a baby fix there. I saw you with a little squish in your arms there.
Oh my God. My wife's cousin's brand new baby, I think a month old maybe. And the grandma's walking around with him, and it was just like, everybody's like reaching up. Can I hold that baby? Can I hold the baby? She's like, no, I'm just going over. And she ended up, and she got about halfway down this long row of chairs, and I was in that area, and she had to sit down. And she sat down and she gave the baby to the lady sitting beside me. And it was delightful because she'd done childcare for a long time, and she really just, and she started and I'm like, anytime you get tired, I will take that baby. You just let me know. And she was like, really? I'm like, yes. And the grandmother said, yeah, Danny loves babies. And so she held him for probably, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something. It was a while. It was too long. I'm just saying she'd give the baby immediately. But she said, well, here you go. And she passed him over to me, and he cranked a little bit because he was moved or whatever, but immediately went back to sleep. And then we had the big celebrations going on. So we had our wedding reception. So we had the big people going, this and this. And everybody goes, yeah. And the baby would like, and I would put him back to sleep. And the lady reaches over and she touches my arm because she doesn't want to like jostle me too much. She goes, you're a natural at this. You're so good at this. And I'm like, it's because it's a baby and I love babies. Yeah.
That's
just
awesome.
a delightful little thing. Just a delightful little thing. And that was probably the highlight. And I hate to say this because I have my own kids with me and a whole lot of memories with them as well. But that was just such an amazing moment. I could have I probably held that baby for half an hour. And then he just started getting a little, there's too much noise at a certain point. And I'm like, yeah, we should maybe take him out of the room.
But I think though too, like, your kids see that and they're like, oh, were you like that with us? And you're like, yeah, that's where I got it from.
No, my kids, every time they go, oh God, Dad's getting a baby again. Dad, you can't take the baby home. No.
It's like taking a kid to the pet store. You cannot bring the puppy home.
Right. You cannot have this one. Why do you even pick them up? Yeah. Yeah. They were very, very mean to me about my baby fix, but yeah. But I think that you're right, that they do see that love that you have.
Yeah.
And understand that you had that same love for them.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Well, my family, we did a fun little first. We took the kids to go see AJR in concert, and that was uh, that was a lot of fun. That was our big thing that we've done in the past couple of weeks.
Tell us who AJR is.
AJR is a band made up of three brothers, Adam, Jack, and Ryan.
Nice.
And they are very entertaining. It's interesting because some people don't don't like them just because of how their stage presence is, because they're just different, and I love that. Like, I mean, every band should be different. You shouldn't get criticized because you do something entertaining differently than what someone thinks that you should do. But
right,
I mean, their show was artful and was just spectacular in the different things. Like, you know, they've figured out how to, you know, show how they break down their songs and show you how they came up with, you know, the different like odd sounds that they have in their music. And that was probably one of the coolest things, was they were showing like, you know, they took like two plates clinking together, and they said that this song took them 20 years to make, and it was because they had actually taken home videos from when they were kids and rearranged the order in which they like been listening to them, and put them in a way that it actually made this iconic sound for one of like their big songs. And like they showed how, like, you know, it's like an iMovie, you know, you can like clip out and like kind of move things around, and that's what they did. And I was like, it was so amazing, because I'm like, oh, this is the kind of stuff that I do for the podcast, you know, like just and being able to move things around like that. So it was just very entertaining. They use screens to, you know, simulate different areas of like what the song is like. So it's almost like watching like a live music video in a lot of ways.
So it's like a whole performance.
Oh, it's a whole, yeah. It's
nice.
very Broadway almost in a way.
Yeah.
And that it also is really cool. I took a lot of different videos and stuff, so I'm working on getting those posted on my Instagram, and so they'll probably be like reels and stuff. But I mean, just the things that they did were wild. It was so cool to just be there, and also for the kids to just enjoy it. It was their first concert, so they had made a poster up that said like, "This is my first concert," you know, and they had like decorated this poster board with everything. And
awesome.
Yeah, they were having a good old time, and it was nice. It was nice to be inside too. And to not be outside for
even
concert.
better. Yeah, I assumed you were outside. So yeah.
No, it's an inside concert. So it was at a hockey arena here in town. So that was also kind of nice, because we didn't have to worry about sweating to death outside for that, especially for that being their first concert. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's what we've been doing. Yeah.
And that's a great experience, I think, too, because the understanding of the difference between what you hear like on the radio or hear your playlist or on a video, whatever, as opposed to live music is such a different experience.
Definitely.
We have a local, all through the summer, they have on Thursday nights, they have a local park here that they have bands come and play every week. You know, and Marnie goes, and my brother and his kids go. And Thursday night is the night that we have Dad's RPG night, and I run a game on Thursday, so I can't go regularly. But I'll maybe go over and hang out with them and listen to the warm up band, and not really get the good band. But we went out this Saturday night, I think it was. It was Saturday night, and we listened to a local Wisconsin band called Copper Box, and they're a very interesting mix of like a polka feel, but also a folk music, and kind of it's just a lot of different, like the guy plays the accordion through most of his songs, also plays the sousaphone, which is very interesting to see, because he's up there with a huge instrument and just blowing out the tunes.
Were any of them former members of the Kenosha Kickers?
Not that I know of.
No,
but it wouldn't surprise me.
Nobody knew Polka Polka Polka.
Oh, they knew it, yeah. Because he had people, and he was like, "Okay, so we're coming up. Everybody get a night, take a drink, to get a breath, and we're gonna do a polka." And all of these people were standing up, and they're all. This is a retirement community, basically.
Yeah.
That they move up. They basically what the lady said that the local. She said, "Well, most of them are from Illinois, and they just come up here to spend the summer." So, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's an interesting from Illinois. I mean, I can see like Georgia maybe or Texas or Phoenix, but no, we're gonna go
Yeah,
just from Illinois. It's like
we're
right
like the
there.
cold Florida of the North. That's what
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what
They're like,
we
this
are.
is really weird, but okay. But they did, and it was hilarious. Now I used to live in and around Atlanta. There's a city called Peachtree City, and Peachtree City is a golf cart community. And I didn't understand that. It was like I don't know what you're talking about. So I drove through there, and I had friends that lived down there. And literally, like you go to like the fast food restaurants, they'd have golf carts in the drive-through,
Yep.
and there were extra wide sidewalks everywhere, and golf cart signs everywhere. So golf carts have the right of way, and you have little kids. You have like 12 and 14-year-old kids that are driving a golf
Buzzing
cart up
around. Yep.
to the McDonald's or whatever. Like this is wild. But it's really neat because it's such a little insular, community that you really get to know your neighbors. It's like a small town feel. And this was the same thing, except they didn't drive golf carts. They drove those four-wheel drive Rhinos, the little ATVs that have like the
Oh,
full canopy and roof and four doors. It's like a little car, but it's a four
with a
by
roll
four.
cage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a roll cage and the KC lights and like the big old grills and a winch and all. And you just see these and it's and they'd pull up, and then grandma would get out and
Yep.
she'd be driving. And
Yep.
it's grandma and her three grandma friends, and they'd all get out and with their knitting bags and their chairs, and they'd just, oh, we're gonna go watch a band, and they'd sit down.
It's their hunting vehicle, off season is
Yes,
what it is.
yes, it was delightful. It was so cute. And I shouldn't say cute. I wouldn't want anybody here to say that would call it cute, but
Man,
it
there's mud on it. It ain't
was.
cute.
It ain't cute, can't be cute, but it was adorable. It was fantastic. I'm like, this is because you couldn't drive a golf cart here as well as you could. I mean, you need
Yeah,
an ATV.
it would spin.
Just,
Yeah, the wheels would just
yeah,
spin. Too much
yeah,
ice.
too many things going on. But that ATV, man, and they were fast too.
Oh
Like
yeah.
when we were leaving, I cleared the road. They're like, okay, and you hear them, and I'm going to get off the road, and meow, and there goes grandma, and I'm like, you're going way too fast
Yep.
in an
Well,
ATV, but all right.
because
But
usually they have a 4-cylinder, engine in them.
yeah, they were ready to go.
Yeah,
Get on the
definitely.
highway.
I
Yeah,
got
but
my
it
Geo
was a
Metro
great
engine in here.
experience. And I have to say, if you have the opportunity to go to a live concert for everybody, take your kids.
Oh yeah.
The experience you had, you get it. It's such a different thing watching live music. And we
Yeah.
had,
And you bring ear protection for them too. Like that's the other thing like the kids had as well.
yes, yeah. And we're not up to the level that we need. We figured this out because we go up and we got a chair, and I actually brought a cooler this time, and I made some sandwiches and some some drinks and some fruit and stuff like that in it, and I set it down between our chairs where we could all get to it, and the people in front of us sit down, and they have a little bag, they open it up, and it's four legs and then a roll out tabletop. So it's basically like planks that just rolls out. It's in a roll. They roll it out. They snap it all together, and they got basically a little end table between them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Marnie, and then they get out. They get a thing of fruit, like mixed fruits that they cut up themselves at home, and then they have a salsa dip with chips and different kinds of chips around it, and then they have wine. And I'm just like, okay,
I mean, there you
I'm
go,
not,
right there.
My game is low. This is not. I'm embarrassed by my
Just
sandwich.
just be careful, Danny. Don't do this whole keeping up with the Joneses in the neighborhood thing. All right, like just you be you, okay? Just,
right.
It's okay.
Right. Like it's like we had, and I will say, the sandwiches were fantastic. And for anybody out there who hasn't made one at home, make a garlic aioli. AIOLI. I don't know how to say it, but it's basically garlic and lime juice mayonnaise with some paprika in it and stuff. And Marnie loves it, and she wants to go to our local burger place because they put it on their burgers. So I'm like, well, I'll just make it at home, and I did, and put it on the sandwiches. She took a bite. She goes, "Oh my god, did you make garlic aioli?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you like it?" She goes, "Oh, and
You're a wizard."
She hates mayonnaise. She won't eat mayonnaise, but she'll eat aioli, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just got some garlic in it. Come on.
It's got a different name, man. It's like,
Right.
it's not
Right.
mayonnaise. It's
Right.
aioli. That's what it comes
Aioli.
down to. It's
Yeah.
French. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Yeah. Italian, maybe? Probably Italian. I don't
Probably
know.
Italian. Yeah,
I
it
don't
sounds
know either.
Italian.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome, man. That's the thing that's fun about the summer is, this like there are always like outdoor concerts, that kind of stuff going on. And so there's so much to be able to take away from that and then just have entertainment to be able to do that. And
Hmm.
also too, like, for the adults, like, oh yeah, like we get to sit here and have some adult time and listen to music. And like the kids are like, we just want to go play. And like, all right, fine. Like I know
Yeah.
you're in this like general vicinity, go have a
Right.
ball. And that's the other fun part of it. So that's awesome. And the really sad part is that that is all slowly coming to an end
I don't know
because
about
school.
slowly, man.
Yeah.
We've got, for us, we start September 2nd or 4th, something like
Well,
that. So it's, yeah.
you got the long
So,
game then, because
right. And I'm like, oh, we got a whole month left. And I'm like, oh God, we only have a
yeah,
month left. And I
I
told Marty, I'm like, okay, so remember August budget? I'm going to destroy that. And she's like, what? Why? I'm like, school supplies, babe.
yeah. Do you get a tax-free like weekend or anything like that? Do they do that up
I,
there?
I think so. I
Yeah,
haven't seen anything about it yet, but I believe there was one last year. But
they
I
just
went at
extended ours to like a
I
week.
nice. Yes, you should. You need
I
to.
know, right?
You
Like,
can't do this in
I
one
don't,
day. Why?
I don't need to do like a Black Friday weekend of like school
Mm-mm.
supplies.
Especially because you have all of these other parents who are just as desperate for school supplies as you are, and nobody's.
Exactly.
They're like, no, no, no. My kid needs school supplies. I got to buy some crayons and fighting
Yeah.
over crayons at the Walmart or something.
Exactly. I need
But I
that
went
last 3-ring binder
right,
in
and it's got to be.
purple.
It's exactly. It's got to be the purple one. Well, I need a purple one too. Well, that's too bad. I was here first. I'm like,
Nobody
can
wants
I
the yellow one.
right? Can I get a white one and just write purple on the front? Can we math or whatever it's for? We don't need but it
I need
is
a
easier
trapper
for little
keeper. Oh
kids.
wait, they don't make trapper. Oh yeah, they do make trapper
They
keepers
they
now.
have they started making them again. I got Marnie one I think last year, year before, just because.
Was it the Lisa? What's her name? Like with the, what I'm talking about? Like that
No,
whole '90s
no, no.
animal. Oh man,
I don't
those are
remember Lisa
iconic
that.
right there.
It was just the standard, trapper
Yeah.
keeper with a red line in it or whatever. But again, what did I want more than anything in my life when that thing came out? Nothing. I wanted
No,
a trapper keeper
everybody
so
wanted it.
bad, but I couldn't get one. We couldn't afford one or whatever.
Yep.
And it sucked. I'm like, oh my God, please, I want this thing. We can't get it. Now I'm looking at it, I'm like, here you go, Marnie. And I told her, I said, I know you, as the princess that you grew up as, had one of these when you were a kid,
Yeah.
but I wanted to give you another one because I feel like it's just a nostalgic thing and it's a sweet thing. Maybe you won't use it at work or anything like that. But and she goes, oh, I'll use it. Oh, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with
Yeah.
this. All right,
Oh, I knew
cool.
people that like they really liked them, especially the ones that had all the artwork and stuff on them. And I was
Yeah,
more of a like, give me a plain one that
yeah,
has like the clear in it, because like I love to just draw, and so you could draw up the stuff and then slide it in, and it was your,
yes,
creation that was on the front of
yes.
it, and that was always fun for me. So
Hmm.
I didn't need the and they were official trapper keepers still. Like they just it was a nicer way to be able to just display your own art. So
Yeah. Oh,
I like
and
that a lot.
also like for schedules and stuff, if you have a class schedule or something, or just want to put
Mm-hmm.
this is my math book or whatever, the clear ones I think are much cooler. I
Yeah.
like I don't want to say plain ones, but I guess it's a plain one. That's what I prefer.
I left the back with a blank piece of paper with lines on it so that I could write girls' numbers on it.
Yeah. And did you fill that out? Did you?
It was usually pretty full. Yep.
Yeah. All right. All
Yep.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
My kids are off on
Cowboy
the
up.
side here. Like we're recording this while I'm in the dining room. The kids are just getting up and they're sitting in the living room. I'm not looking over, but I'm sure I can feel their eyes just be
Eye
like,
rolls.
"What?" I have questions.
Dad, what do you mean? Girls' numbers for what?
Yeah,
Girl
exactly.
Scout cookies.
Yeah,
I need to buy Girl Scout cookies, and I wanted to know who had the best prices.
I need to know
That's what
who
it
to
was.
call if I have a math question.
Right?
What's
Yeah.
1 + 1? Okay.
It's you and me. Oh wait, no, sorry. No, no.
Well, hey, we should probably wrap up soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Next week we will have Jeff, or no, what am I thinking of? Next week we will have Greg Clapp on,
Thanks.
and
Yeah, Greg.
be talking some
31st.
more home dad con stuff, and getting closer. And we're also getting closer to going to the podcast movement in DC, which is
Mhm.
exciting. And we've even had a few people reach out to us about that. So maybe after, like, in the weeks coming, we'll talk a little bit more about what is going to be involved in that, because
Yeah.
there's some exciting things that are taking place there. And I tell you that I feel
Big
like
names, baby. Big names.
big names. And also too, like, I feel like there's some things to like see and learn, and then also really appreciate about Home Dad Con compared to that, because there are definitely some things that we do as a convention that is totally different than this massive convention does, that I think when people are like, man, it's really expensive to go to Home Dad Con, it's like, let me show you what an actual like convention is like, because they are different. They are real different. So.
Oh, it's and you would look at prices for like a fatherhood convention somewhere else, or something about masculinity or being a man or whatever, and it's like, wait, I don't want to pay 4 times what I normally pay.
Right?
It'll be $1,000. I mean, for what? You don't even get food. I'm out.
There it is. Exactly. So we'll talk about more of that later, but hope you all have a great week. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Good night, everybody.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.